Welcome. My name's Dan Clark. I'm one of the Festival Creative Directors of Sydney World Pride, and this is...
Hello, I'm Ben Gratz. I'm the other Festival Creative Director of Sydney World Pride.
And I just wanted to acknowledge that we are meeting today on Gadigal country and pay my respects to elders past and present, and say what an extraordinary honour and a privilege it is to work alongside Ben in this creative direction of the festival, and to have such an incredible program of First Nations stories, artworks and experiences going throughout the festival. It's a great honour to be here today to introduce Troy Anthony Bayliss and team to open this exhibition. Yeah, so I'd like to introduce Richard Perham OAM to officially launch the exhibition. Thank you.
It's a real pleasure to have been asked by Troy Anthony Bayliss to officially open the Anita Bryant Monuments, one of two exhibitions in which Troy is featured for Sydney World Pride 2023. The other exhibition, Linger-Talk, officially opens at Cement Fondue on Saturday 18th of February at 6 p.m, so be there. It will be a fantastic show. Troy was born in 1976 in Gadigal, Sydney, and now lives and works in Tantania, Adelaide. He is a descendant of the Jarwon people from the Northern Territory and is also of Irish ancestry, which explains the blue hair. His father was a member of the Stolen Generation. Even though he has had many solo exhibitions, it was only in 2019 in the National at Carriage Works, curated by Daniel Moody Cunningham, that my husband and I encountered his infamous postcard series. These large works made laboriously from reconstituted glow mesh, which are both high camp and high seriousness. They recall Moonee Ponds and Queer Black, Australia. As Susan Sontag wrote in her seminal 1964 essay, Notes on Camp, camp taste is above all a mode of enjoyment, of appreciation, not judgment. Camp is generous. It wants to enjoy. It only seems like malice, cynicism, or if it is cynicism, it is not a ruthless but a sweet cynicism. Camp taste doesn't propose that it is in bad taste to be serious. It doesn't sneer at someone who succeeds in being seriously dramatic. What it does is find the success in certain passionate failures. Or as Oscar Wilde put it far more pithily in Vera or Vanillas, life is too important a thing to talk seriously about it. The titles in the postcard series, which were the glow mesh works, are based on connecting old mission towns, sites of Indigenous Renaissance, and ordinary suburbs across the nation. But each has another queer reading, so To Bella Vista from Cherry Brook is easily envisaged as two drag queens writing to each other, similarly to Crystal Brook from Sandy Gully via Alice Springs. They also recall the colonial breastplates given as badges of courage to selected Indigenous people as a way to control and divide. And most recently, Troy's work was seen at Casula Powerhouse in their 2021-22 exhibition, Jamming with Strangers. But it is his exhibition nomenclature. Thank you. You'll have to say it every time I have to. At the Art Gallery of South Australia in 2020-2021, that the range of his work was shown so clearly. It featured the postcard series, as well as the name of that show,
Nomenclatures.
Thank you. A series of woven works based on the name of that act.
Nomenclatures.
Thank you. Of 1917, in which German town names were anglicised before being restored in 1935. The weaving of these two names together made them unintelligible. And Troy added another layer by embroidering the names of Aboriginal country over the weaving. The third series was Tell Them They're Dreaming. Collaged on materials he found in a dollar shop in Germany, they recall David McDermott's famous text works, such as That's Miss Poofter to you, arsehole. And as Troy puts it, when I want your dreaming, I'll give it to you. Troy's work uses popular songs titles about dreaming that recall the act of dreaming, as well as Indigenous people's spiritual and cultural practice, the dreaming. We now come to the Anita Bryant monuments. To younger LGBTIQA+ people, it is a name that conjures up nothing. To people of my generation in the 1970s, she was the epitome of unbridled LGBTQIA+ hate, masquerading under the guise of religion. Her claims to fame was that she was Miss Oklahoma in 1958, a religious recording artist who charted, and a brand ambassador from 1969 to 1980 to the Florida Citrus Commission, which caused gays to boycott Florida orange juice. The American ridiculous playwright Ronald Tavel, best known as the scriptwriter of Andy Warhol's first sound movies, was so appalled by her actions that he wrote in 1977 The Ovens of Anita Orange Juice, A History of Modern Florida, in which Anita imports the gas ovens from Auschwitz to America to incinerate gay people. It's a comedy. After World War II, the Allies chose not to repeal Section 175, with the result that many gay men, after being released from the concentration camps, were re-imprisoned to serve out the remainder of their sentence. And they did not receive any reparation until late last century. In a heteronormative society, it is difficult for those who identify as exclusively heterosexual to understand, let alone identify with the concept of the other in relation to gender. What one has not experienced is either ignored or at worst greeted with hostility. Those who identify as other or LGBTIQA+ have invariably been socialised in a heteronormative household and understand the roles that boys and girls must learn to perform to ingratiate themselves into a heteronormative world. Between 1989 and 1999, 46 known gay hate murders took place in New South Wales. The perpetrators of these murders were packs of young heterosexual men raised in heteronormative households who had been socialised to regard kufters and fags as fair game. In a discussion around the time of same-sex marriage vote, the former Federal Resources Minister Matt Canavan, and isn't he wonderful, he's gone, dismissed a warning from the National Mental Health Commission about the potential consequences of the campaign for LGBTIQA Australians. He said, "Can't we all just grow a spine and grow up? The debate hasn't been that bad. Let's stop being delicate little flowers." At the same time, Lyle Shelton, then from the Australian Christian lobby, which was anything but, was frankly sick of being called bigoted by supporters of change. Both men, who it is assumed are espoused heterosexual, wanted it both ways, no pun intended, and seemed to have a collective amnesia about the hatred and violence that has been levelled at LGBTIQA people for many years by a heteronormative society. Troy's view of Anita in this exhibition shows the lunacy of her views and the views of people like Canavan and Shelton. Yet it is the same lunacy or off-the-planet ideas, lies and bigotry that elected Donald Trump to the White House and gave us the Pentecostal Scott Morrison. Anita's story has a happy ending, as her image shifted from being model Christian spokeswoman to that of self-righteous bigot. She lost her endorsement for the Florida Citrus Commission, her business career tanked, she was divorced from her first husband, and with her second husband was subsequently declared bankrupt. Troy's outrageous exhibition is a warning that while we live in enlightened times, there's enough bigotry out there under the surface for us to keep our guards up. And with that, I declare the exhibition open. Thank you.